Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Olivia and this is my channel where I love to talk about all things nail polish. This is a video in my Did I Nail It series where I like to take a look at upcoming nail polish releases and see if I can dupe some of them by using polishes that I already own. In this case, y'all know what you clicked into. It's for polish pickup for the month of, oh, we're in March now. I was supposed to say February. Okay, we're in March. If you're unfamiliar with Polish Pickup, it is a monthly collaboration between indie makers who come together and create polishes, other types of cosmetic products, and even non-cosmetic products, like really cute little crochet animals around a certain theme. And this month's theme is sky creatures. Okay, so this is, I think it's a squirrel drinking boba tea. Oftentimes I will plan my outfit to be on brand with a theme, but today I was just going for like maximum coziness. And this shirt here is like the coziest top that I own, and also this cardigan here is also just everything. I'm just like, all that's missing is like a warm fireplace. But anyway, this is not necessarily a sky creature, but there will be polishes that are around that theme. The way that I like to approach this and give some advice to y'all, especially if these videos are newer to you, is that if you are on a no buy or a low buy, I hope that these dupe attempts can show you some ways that you can be creative with polishes that you already own, especially if it's the case that you have a lot of like polishes in your collection that are like more of the building blocks of nail polish. So let's say if you have some shimmer toppers, if you have flake toppers, those can really go a long way towards putting them over just like a regular cream or crelly, and before you know it, you've got something that's pretty much matching what you were thinking of buying, but will maybe just be fine with what you've got if you're on a no buy or a low buy. And if you are not on a no buy or a low buy, if you have a larger budget, my advice is to still go through the process and see what you can dupe. So that way, if for example you set a budget for yourself for 5 polishes, spend those 5 polishes on polishes that really are not something that you already have. Like, I feel like we all have those, like a certain type of polish in our collection where we keep duping ourselves over and over. I am not going to talk about how many vampy red polishes I have because they are indeed all different, for example. But, you know, I say this a lot. And I want to say this again, especially if you're newer here. This can be a fantastic way for you to take a chance on some other indie makers who you haven't tried their products before. So dupe what you can and then look around and see, oh yeah, that's a brand that I've never tried before, but their PPU offering for this month is really cool. So I'll give that a go. Polish Pickup is going to be open between March 6th through the 9th for this month. I think that's all for the logistics. So yeah, as always, I encourage you to pull out a swatch wheel, pull out some swatch sticks, and just kind of follow along and let's see what we can do. Before we get into our dupes, I want to revisit a segment or a new segment that I'm calling What's on My Nails. And here is what I've got today, right here. It's like black background with some flakes on it. And so for black, as always, I'm using Bee's Knees Lacquer Void. And then I recently got some iridescent flakes from DRK Nails that I wanted to try out. I mean, look at the color shifts there, right? So I used some of these, made it up into a topper here, and this is the end result. I got, I think, maybe like 5 or 6 other color options there too. So I'm excited to try those out as well and also see how these might look over other colors. Okay, so moving into our first polish for this month's PPU. This one comes from Raven Lacquer. It's called Fire Breather. That sounds like fire breathing, right? Okay. The description says, Fire Breather is loaded with orange and yellow flakes and a red-pink shift, inspired by a fire-breathing dragon. Okay, so this one, I looked at this and I just thought, okay, I've got a vision for this. And I'm starting with two different options here. The first one on the left is from Atomic Polish. It's called Rad Rum. I'm just being all kinds of creepy in this video. And we're only like a few minutes in. I'm not sorry. And the next one is Cracked Polish, Delicacy in Sardinia. I chose these two for a number of reasons. One being I wanted to see how this might differ using like a more reddish base, like in Red Rum, and also more of an orange base in Delicacy in Sardinia. Another reason I chose these two was to see if there's any difference between using a more shimmery polish like Red Rum, or if you might be able to get the same kind of end result by using more of a cream or crelly. So we've got that. On top of that is I'm gonna put Jen and Barry's Q No Who. I mean, looking at this, you can probably see why, like when I came across Fire Breather, I thought, oh, okay, I think I've got something for that. So Q No Who, this is just like gorgeous red flakes. Recommendation for how to wear this one on its own if you ever buy it or if you have it in your collection. Honestly, I think it looks way better as a topper over like a deep red cream polish. And plus that means that since you don't have to build it up to get to full opacity, you get to save more of that polish. So, ooh. See, I know I said I'm using it as a topper. I've never done it as a topper over Red Rum though. Hold up. Ooh, that's nice. Like, this is just so pretty. And I love that you get that presence of the flakes, but not like too much, right? Ooh. Okay, that's the thing about these Did I Nail It videos. I always, as much as I love what's on my nails right now, the bad thing about these videos for me is that I keep going through these different swatches and I'm like, why are my nails not painted like this at the moment? But hey, it gives me more ideas for what I can do. Okay. So far, I think that the more orange leaning option that we got on the right, Delicacy in Sardinia, is giving us a closer match to what is in Fire Breather. But we are not done. So those of you who have been here on my channel for a while may recall our recent adventures with reviewing the jelly polishes or some of the jelly polishes from Blank Beauty. If you happen to miss that, I'll put a link to those videos in the description. But long story short, I did a video review, the brand saw my video, and they agreed with my assessment that a polish, this one used to be called Cranberry Jam and will soon be, if it isn't already updated, they named it after me because I said that looks like hot sauce. And so yeah, so I am using hot sauce here as the next element for each of these. So because what I want to do is try to bring back in some more of that orange. I can already tell that's going to pair very well with our option on the right, the orange base, but I'm curious to see what's going to happen when I put this over Red Rum, because Red Rum is like a reddish orange polish, and I'm wondering if putting hot sauce on top of that is going to shift it a bit to where I see more of the orange tones that are in it. Let's see. Ooh. I did not mean to sound like a wolf just now. I'm so sorry. Oh boy. Okay. Y'all. What? Okay. That's that. I just need a moment of silence for this because that is real nice. Okay. And I am not a big orange polish wearer, but this combination might just make me an orange polish person. Okay. And over. Delicacy in Sardinia. Okay, did I nail it here? I think so, with the option on the right. I feel that using an orange base was like one that's more along the lines of what we have with Delicacy in Sardinia from Cracked, this one here, starting with that kind of color base, and then you know, even though the topper that I use over here, the red flakes, you still are getting those orange tones in there, and I think especially after adding hot sauce on top, it just looks like a beautiful orange glowy bean. So I love this. I think that the option on the right is it aligns more with fire breather, but I think that I would prefer to wear the option on the left. So hey, this is a win-win. Let's move on to the next one. Next is Luck Dragon from Pahlish Trinkets. The website says that it was inspired by Falcor from the Neverending Story. Description is it's a soft white pearl base with iridescent micro glitters and multicolor iridescent flakes, and there's a cap of 500, meaning that there's a maximum of 500 bottles of this polish that will be available during the PPU shopping window. I looked at this one and I thought, first of all, this is gorgeous. Tyler, the maker at Pahlish Trinkets, has such a fantastic eye for, like, I love that he does so well on both the side of just being just full of color, lots of glitter, lots of visual texture, but then can also go to the other side of that and have something that is more subdued, but still being colorful and visually interesting. Now, for this, I decided to start with a coat of a white jelly polish. I'm using Blank Beauty's Olay. I decided to start with the jelly instead of just going straight into putting down some iridescent flakes, because I wanted to strike a balance between having, you know, still having this feel a little bit sheer, but having at least some opacity as a foundation so that we wouldn't have to keep building up the iridescent flakes way too much just by themselves. Got a couple options here. So the first one that came to mind for me was Cirque Colors Fantasia. So I'm gonna start this. By the way, I mentioned in a recent video, but I'm so excited that I was recently approved to be a Cirque affiliate. So I put all the details for that in the description. So if you're going to be shopping at Cirque, feel free to check that out. If not, no worries, but thank you all for the support as always. Ooh, okay. That's so nice right there. Okay. This is the first coat of this. You know, as I'm looking at this, I can already tell how this is gonna go. In a sense, right? Where part of the challenge with trying to dupe something that has the formula like Luck Dragon, where there's just so many flakes packed in there, is that ultimately you can kind of see the difference between the end result where it is something like Luck Dragon, where you just had a bunch of flakes that were all mixed up together and just very jam-packed in there, versus something like this where we're trying to dupe it, which is you know, putting on individual coats of flakes to build it up that way. I think that, you know, sometimes I tend to gravitate more towards this kind of approach because I know that my flaky balm polishes can tend to take a little bit longer to dry. So if I can still get the same result as Luck Dragon, but in a more like streamlined way, that's gonna be good for me. Okay, I want to try another iridescent flake topper option. No, that doesn't work. Okay, we tried. This is from Pepper Polish. It's called Tidal Dreams. It was from July last year's Hella Handmade Creations. and yet I still have really not done much with this. So that was a big part of me pulling this one out, because I haven't quite been able to figure out how I best want to like use this one. So maybe this will give me a good viable option here. But, and it's so surprising, right? Because like, look how colorful this is. But yet whenever I try to put this on top of something, I just am not feeling it. Okay, I'm feeling this though. Oh, okay. Oh, that's really nice. Okay, so both of these options are looking pretty good so far. You can see a little bit of the differences between the two options that I chose with the flake density, meaning like how many flakes do we have like packed in there. And that is actually something I'd encourage you to do if you're trying to dupe a flaky bomb polish like Luck Dragon. Try out some different flake toppers of varying densities, because you know, you might go into it thinking that you prefer something like Fantasia on the left, but then when you take a look at your end result, you're like, you know what, I actually prefer this. Okay, I think I'm gonna put these two over to the side. You know, one option I considered was, do I want to keep building up with these toppers or try something else? So my next option that I've got is Jen and Barry's Magic Show, which is a gorgeous holographic flake topper. So I'm hoping that when I put these on, it's not going to cover up too much of our iridescent flakes. And I know the description didn't even really say there's hollow flakes in here, but I'm like, I feel like we could have some hollow flakes. My thinking is that I want there to be the appearance of some kind of like top layer over my iridescent flakes, but I don't necessarily feel that I want to fully cover them up like with a jelly, because you know, like a jelly sandwich is of course a viable option, but I am really loving just how sparkly these two options are just on their own. And you know, if I were to go back in with another coat of Olay, it would really kind of push that back to the background. I do think though that would probably make it closer to Luck Dragon. So here's where I will say two roads diverged in a wood. One path was gonna go do this jelly sandwich. I'm pretty sure if you wanna, you know what, here's what we'll do. Since I got two options here. Okay, for one of these, I'm going to do the jelly sandwich. And for the other one, I'm going to do option B that I'm excited about. Okay, so let's go back in for doing a jelly sandwich over Fantasia plus Magic Show. Because I think my theory is going to be right. Yep, see what I mean here? How like, it's not bad, but you know, it's not giving me that I can no longer see the magic that's underneath there. So yeah, I don't like that. Okay, so I'm glad I've got a second option here. And the last thing I'm going to try to put over this, those of y'all who watch my videos a lot, you will probably not be surprised. Oh, what is this? A silver reflective glitter topper? I would never. That's some sarcasm for you. This is one that I mixed up myself, but if you do not already have a silver reflective glitter topper in your collection, the one that I typically recommend is KB Shimmer's Out of Sequence. And again, the description of Luck Dragon doesn't say it has reflective glitter in it, but I love reflective glitter. I put it on just about everything, and I'm like, this feels like it could benefit from some reflective. Oh, wow. Yep. Okay. That is so nice. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in on this one. I'm sorry about the left one. That was yeah, that happened. That is so pretty. Okay, on this channel before, there was one video where I said something reminded me of a Fabergé egg, and I haven't forgotten. I have added to my list of like video ideas to film and plan at some point. I am gonna do one about like nail art inspired by Fabergé eggs, but this looks like a Fabergé egg. Oh, okay. I need to wear this combination. Did I nail it with Luck Dragon? I mean, not fully, but the journey that we just went on gave me this end result that, y'all, I'm not kidding when I say this is one of my most like favorite combinations I have ever come up with in this series. And I'm okay. I'm gonna stop talking about this. Okay. The next polish is, well, from the brand Pahlish, and it's called Icarus. The website says that Icarus is an ash base with iridescent red, pink, green flakes and shimmer and an ultrafine silver magnetic pull. It's inspired by the story of Icarus, and there's no cap. So, I looked at this one, and you know, in the polish pickup Facebook groups, there's always a lot of talk around which polishes people are most interested in, and I've seen a lot of discussion around this one. So I thought I would try to dupe it, especially because I'm pretty sure that I can. So I've started with two of the same swatch here. The black is Bee's Knees Lacquer Void, and the iridescent flake topper that I'm using is Spectrum Cosmetics Firefly from Hell. And the end result here with just these two combinations, it's, you know, very similar to like the kind of vibe I've got going on with the what's on my nails right now. This is kind of one of my like go-to combinations for when I'm in a rush or I don't feel like doing my nails for too long, but I still want them to look cute. This is one of my go-tos. Now I've got two different magnetic options that I want to try out. The first one is, you know, your standard silver magnetic topper. This one is from Monarch Lacquer called Enigma Glow. So let's go ahead and try this out. I mean, these swatch photos look great. I mean, from the you know, the story of Icarus, I think I can really see the inspiration there, and it just feels so like mystical, and you can just feel like I was about to say the swamp dust. That I don't know where I'm going with that, but like you can feel something there. Okay, this will be an interesting combination because I never really would have thought to put silver over this kind of flake topper, but here we go. Yeah, okay, I know y'all can't see that just yet, but this I think is looking pretty good to me so far, you know. I've got my iridescent flakes on the bottom, I've got over black, and now I've got this like really nice smoky like silver line. So this, you know, if all that you have for this is like your standard kind of silver magnetic topper like this, I think that's, you know, pretty good. But I wanted to take it and kick it up a notch and see. So I'm also going to try out Fancy Gloss's Stellar Pull, which is a more like a finer kind of finer particle magnetic. Let's see how this one goes and if it really will make that much of a difference in our end results. Already you can see there is a slight color difference, but not so much to where you're like, no, that doesn't look like my misty swamp. You know, I'm just gonna stay in the swamp for this. You know, I'm feeling it. Okay, again, I know it's gonna take just a second before I remove this, but yo, that's it right there. Okay, yeah. So I feel like the difference here is Stellar Pull gave just a nice like tint of color. Also, why did I just say tint of color with the same kind of vocal inflection of when John Travolta was like the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem? I'm just all over the place today. But this, I feel like, is a really good end result. Now, typically over magnetic polishes, I use the DRK magic effect to give a more crisp magnetic line, and I will do that here as well to show how that looks, in the, you know, showing it in additional lighting. But I think that if you are trying to go with what's more in the swatch photos of Icarus, keeping it like this and getting more of that like misty smoky look is absolutely a viable option. So yay, I nailed this one. Next is Pinnacle Polish's Forgotten Friends. The website says it was inspired by pigeons. It's a blackened purple jelly base with green shimmer that shifts reddish purple at extreme angles, and there's a cap of 250. Okay, before we get into this, I have to tell my pigeon story. That is why I chose this polish, because I have a pigeon story. So I went to college in New York City, where there's the pigeons there are just, ooh, they are intense. And there was one day when I was walking through campus and I was on the phone, I was calling my mom and seeing how she was doing back at home. And y'all, next thing I knew, I felt something like on my neck, and a pigeon like pooped on me just in the middle of the day. And I said that to my mom, and she's like, oh, that's good luck. So my family's from the South, so, you know, sometimes we've got these sayings and things like that, but yeah, that happened. So here we are. I love pigeons, even though that day they did not love me. So this is interesting to start with, because I've got, as you can see, two different jellies here. For a while, I actually realized, like, you know, even with all these dupes that I do, I just didn't have a purple jelly polish. And so I went and got two of them to see which one I might prefer. The one on the left is from Starly. It's called Crown Jelly. And the one on the right is Emily Damali Sheer Tint Indigo. So just starting here and looking at these two, you can see the difference. Both of these I've put down so far in 2 coats. And very different in terms of how saturated they are, opacity, all that good stuff. But I want to try this out with both of them. Next component that I want to address, though, is where it says it's a blackened purple jelly base. Now, taking a look at the swatch photos of Forgotten Friends, you can see that purple is a lot darker than what we've got here. So one of my favorite tricks to share when it comes to working with nail polish is to have some kind of black jelly polish in your collection, because it is one of these like building block polishes, like I mentioned in the beginning, that can really help you to easily transform the look of other polishes. So this one is Blank Beauty's Charcoal Custard. I know when I did the video review of this one, I was saying how like I was surprised by how it's more of like a sepia leaning black jelly, but I've been finding lately I've been reaching for this one more than I have my usual go-to, which is Emily Damali's Sheer Tint Shadow. I like the additional like warmth that this gives, so I want to start by bumping this down a bit in color. So you can see the difference that we're getting there. This might actually, you know, this isn't going to go as deep as I might want it to in order to fully match Forgotten Friends. But, okay, let's try it on this one too. Yeah, this would be a case where, even though the description says it's a jelly base, if you're really trying to match that color that's there, and I'll say without having to keep building up so many coats of polish, you might even want to look into starting with a dark purple cream instead, and you probably get the same, if not better, end result. But, you know, I could continue to darken these more by putting on more of that charcoal custard, but it's like, I don't want to have to do that. It's at a certain point it becomes, okay, how many coats of polish am I actually putting on my nails here? All right, So the last thing I want to do to really get this pigeon party going is to add in some green shimmer. So I can definitely see that in the swatch photos. It's actually interesting because some of the swatch photos when I was going through this, it looked like they were more yellow than green, but I do see the green influence now. And as we know, if any of you have ever had a pigeon encounter, they do have this lovely shimmer of green within them. So, you know, I was just thinking, I've got my ethereal lacquer polish called Pigeon, but which is like it's very pigeony, but I'm not going to use that one for this because it like when I use it as a topper, it's not as it comes with a little bit more opacity than I would want in a shimmer topper. So we're gonna do, oh, I should tell you what this is. Goodness. This is Fancy Gloss's Mystic Dust. And I'm gonna put it over my crown jelly option first. Okay, yeah, we are getting there. That is giving the vibe. I feel like if I had a purple polish that was like more in line with that starting color, you know, as I'm swatching this one out here, this is going to be one of those times where I'm going to go to a break, I'm going to go back into my collection and pull out something that I know I've got that starting color in a cream. It looks like, cause see, this is, I'm getting the green shimmer for sure, but not really getting that dark like berry vibe that's in there. I'm looking through some more of the photos to see. Yeah, you know what, that is almost okay. I've got an idea. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is gonna be one of those times where I go based more on what I'm seeing visually rather than what's in the description. So first I started, you know, trying to do a black and purple, but it just didn't quite get there. So I looked at some more of the swatch photos and looked more and saw, okay, this really to me seems almost like, it says it's purple, but it seems like it's leaning very close to like a dark red. And one of the darkest reds that I have in my collection that is still visibly red, but without like going all the way black, is Hollow Taco's Devil's Advocates. And I have put that here in 2 coats. So I'm just gonna do the same thing and see what happens here, because I'm not mad at this first 2, but it's not what we're going for. Okay. And see, the thing here though is that we, you know, when you go so dark like this, it puts on and then when you put on like a shimmer topper, it does just give you like all shimmer right there. So I think what I would want to do is probably put another coat of a jelly on top of this to be able to still allow that shimmer to come through, but to tone it down a bit. Now, in terms of jellies, I'm trying to decide if I go for a red jelly, even though I started with the red base, I don't think that red is going to be the color that I want here. I feel like what I'm going to want to do to darken that is going to be to go back to my black jelly, which is charcoal custard. So, you know, I think this is, you can see how this is all very experimental. Like I wasn't planning on doing this third one, but like I just felt there's got to be a better way. So let's see. Oops, I just like put a random dot there. Okay. Also, that random dot is just like refusing to get smoothed out. This is actually reminding me of like ILMP Salem in a good way. Did I nail it? No. There was an attempt I tried. I think the third option got us the closest, but yeah, the thing with putting okay, I'll tell y'all why this one was so difficult. In order to get the overall base color that was accurate, we needed to go darker than this, right? But then, like I just said, part of the issue we then came up against was that the darker you go as a base color, the more that your shimmer topper is going to come through with that kind of level of saturation, as opposed to when we were using lighter colors over here. So what I really was envisioning was like having this amount of shimmer, but over this color base. I kind of want a pigeon polish. I already have a pigeon polish. My goodness, what am I saying? I've got one that is literally called Pigeon. I don't need another one. Though I do really love the inspiration here. So let's go on and do one last dupe. The final polish that I'm gonna try to do today comes from Royla Lee. It's called Live, Laugh, Lurk. The description says that the brand was inspired by Mothman. It's a smoky base with pink to orange shifting shimmer and hollow. So first of all, who doesn't love Mothman? Yay Mothman, love it. And with the description saying that it's a smoky base, I knew that I was gonna have to start with this Jelly from Cracked Liquid Smoke. And for each of these swatches here, I have put it down so far in 2 coats. Next, so we've got hollow. All right, so I'm gonna go back to this polish, this topper that we used earlier in the video. This is Jen and Barry's Magic Show, which again, I just can't stress enough my recommendation to have your, if you are choosing to add more polishes to your collection, having staples like this kind of topper, this hollow flake topper, is just, it goes such a long way for versatility. So I'm gonna start by putting that down first, because I see the purple pink shimmer very prominently in the swatch photos, and I don't want the hollow flake topper to cover up any of that. I feel like if I were to put down the purple shimmer first and then the hollow flakes, then you know it just wouldn't really give that overall like shimmer. So let me try this out and see how this goes. Yeah, that is looking good so far. And one of the things I love about this hollow flake topper is that it gives you just excellent visual texture without adding physical texture. Okay. You know, I've been on a roll with using Magic Show in this video, so I'm hoping that maybe using it here will give me another go-to option for how to use liquid smoke. Okay, so the reason why I have 2 swatches here is that I'm gonna test this out with 2 different purple pink shimmer toppers. The first one is from Fancy Gloss Let It Glow Purple Pink. If you can see the fill line in here, this is how much I use this polish all the time. And then I also want to try it with this one from Hollow Taco called Twilight Shimmer, which compared to Let It Glow has more of a like visual texture that'll come along with it. But I think that because we are already using a hollow flake topper, I think it might not stand out as much as it would otherwise. So let me start with Let It Glow Purple Pink. I'm like having to dip this all the way over to the side to like get it. Okay. Ooh. Yup. Okay. As I'm doing this, I will say, if you are wanting to get a result that's even closer to what's in the swatch photos for Live, Laugh, Lurk, my recommendation would be to consider starting with just one coat of a smoky jelly polish, like liquid smoke. I did this in 2 coats, just I think out of habit, because I never wear a jelly in just one, very rarely, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. But okay, that's looking good. Yeah, I think doing just even like a 1 coat of the liquid smoke would probably give an even stronger result. Okay, we're not done with this yet, by the way. There's more. Okay, let's do Twilight Shimmer next. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Oh, that blue that's in there though. Whoa, Twilight Shimmer, why have I been neglecting you? I didn't know you did all this. Okay. Oh, it is just the most gorgeous, like, purple to blue shift that's there. And just as I'd expected or predicted, because Twilight Shimmer already has so much visual texture in it, it just kind of seamlessly blends in right there in a way that, like, okay, this is looking to be a time where I feel that the option on the left with the fancy gloss topper is more closely resembling Live, Laugh, Lurk, but I'm preferring the option on the right is what I would actually wear, because of how we get a more sheer look with the topper there, which is so bizarre because normally it's the other way around, that I would not use a Holo Taco shimmer topper for more transparency. Okay. Ooh, this is great. Y'all see how this is? These are very genuine reactions that I'm doing here. So the last thing that I want to do, because I don't think we have enough holo, you can never have enough holo, you can never have enough glitter, is add on ILMP's My Private Rainbow X. So let's go ahead and put that on just to give like even more holo. You know, it says it has holo in it, and I know we put holo flakes down, but let's just end this video with a sparkly bang. And of course, I'm not sure how much this will be picking up in this lighting, but for sure under some other lighting. This is also making me think that, like, going back here real quick to that one that I just completely fell in love with, I'm actually thinking that when I wear this, I would maybe even consider using a holo topper instead of reflective glitter, or both. Okay, because yeah, I'm just really liking how the holo sparkle is picking up here, and I think it would pair very well with like the color shiftiness that's over there. Why is there a random hair in there? Oh, I just have hairballs everywhere. Okay, sorry it left a little streak there. Yeah, option B is the one that I would wear. That's a really great combination. And so what this is helping me to see is that I really love the combination of Jen & Barry's Magic Show together with Holo Taco's Twilight Shimmer. I mean, here I started with this over a smoky base, but I feel like this might look even better over something like a more white base right there. So the possibilities are endless here. Did I nail this? Yeah, for sure. Oh, the Twilight, not the Twilight, this is cute. Okay, now I'm kind of leaning more towards the one on the right, because when I just moved it down to a different angle where the holo was picking up, oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I nailed that. Live, laugh, lurk. If any of these were on your wish list or still are in your wish list, I'd be curious to hear if these dupe options are helping you to maybe see what you want to keep on there, remove, anything in between. Yeah, I know I always say that these videos tend to give me inspiration to try polish combinations that I never would have considered before, but like I got 3 solid ones from this one that I can absolutely see myself wearing. The first one here, the first red rum based one, then the one with the pepper polish iridescent flake topper, and then finally, like, I go back and forth. Okay, 4 options. So I like this one with the fancy gloss shimmer topper, but then I also now want to see what happens when I combine Hollow Taco's Twilight Shimmer with Gin and Berry's Magic Show over variety of base polishes. This is a lot of fun. Also, my energy today, just, you know, it's one of those days where I am just so happy to be sitting here and playing with nail polish and spending time virtually with all of you. If there are any other polishes that are on your wish list that you want some help with trying to dupe, let me know in the comments and I'll see what ideas I might have for that. Until the next time, enjoy whichever magical sky creatures you choose to spend some time with, especially a pigeon. And thank you so much for being here and for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.